We've just heard about the booming field of prop tech, which includes safety. And so our next guest fits perfectly into this category. Swimming in a pool. It's one of life's great pleasures, at least for me. But that dream can easily turn into a nightmare as multiple drowning incidents among children and adults alike occur on a yearly basis. And that's where Lynxight comes in. They've developed tech that detects early signs of water distress, unusual swimmer behavior, and a variety of pool analytics to enable proactive lifeguarding. And here to tell us more about it is Eyal Amit, co-founder and VP of Business Development at Lynxight, a part of terralab Ventures. Welcome.
Thank you.
So what exactly does Lynxight do?
Lynxight is developing a technology that uses artificial intelligence to prevent drowning and help aquatic facility managers manage risks. At the end of the day, when we talk about different aquatic venues, there are pools and water parks and beaches and marinas, and they all share one common denominator, and that's having a problem of seeing in the water, which means that a lot of incidents can go unnoticed. And so in that respect, our job is to increase their vision capabilities using technology, helping them to see things that they could never see before and respond quickly enough.
So let's talk about water safety, right? Today, all we have pretty much are 2 eyes and a lifeguard, right? And if pools are packed or beaches are packed, it's often not enough.
Right. The thing is that the types of technology that are currently around, and ourselves included, they're designed to help, to support. Be it lifeguards or be it anyone else who's in charge. You can't see everything. Oftentimes I hear about drowning incidents where nobody knew what was going on, nobody was aware, and that's our job to bridge that gap. We use machine vision algorithms that are the most advanced today in the game to bridge that gap, to help bring, I would say, a different perspective, not only on identifying things that are going wrong, but also preventing them ahead of time. I'll give you an example. If a parent and his child go into the water, our technology will identify that there is an adult and a child that are connected somehow. And as a gap between them grows, as a distance between them grows, that means that we want someone to be aware of it. Nothing has happened yet, but we want them to be aware. The same thing goes for a child, let's say a 2 or 3-year-old who walks close by the deep water. We want someone to know about that.
And so how do you transfer that information to, let's say, the lifeguard or to whoever's
we use smart watches and smartphones to give alerts, but the alerting isn't really part of it. Conceptually, the most important thing is assessing risks. And the way for us to do that is to measure the behavior and assess the movements and classify the actions of every single person in the pool. Doesn't matter if it's 1, 10, 50, or hundreds of people simultaneously. This way we can understand each person's individual vulnerabilities, their limits, and give them a risk grade. So that means that if you're a lifeguard, you have a better understanding of where you want to focus your attention on. And that's the game. The name of the game is attention. We believe 100% that drowning is preventable. When a car, I often say this, that when a car storms at you out of nowhere at 100 miles per hour, with or without technology, there's very little you can do. When a swimmer is in distress, all it takes is attention to detail. And that's where Lynxight's technology comes into play.
And do you have any statistics, on, let's say, pool drownings? Is this something that is a fairly common occurrence?
Drowning is a rare event on the one hand, but then what struck us the most when we looked at the fact is that every year, 4,000 people drown to death in the US alone, another 6,000 in the EU.
Wow.
And about 1/3 of these incidents occur in lifeguarded facilities.
In lifeguarded facilities?
In lifeguarded facilities.
Wow.
So what that tells us is that despite having lifeguards and despite having oftentimes enough eyes on the water, if you will, sometimes you just can't see. Human visibility has certain, I would say, a certain capacity. And so to that extent, it's our job to go and see under the water what nobody else can see.
So you've talked a little bit about how the tech works. Can you maybe expand on it? Is it something that needs to be installed? How exactly does it work?
Sure. So we use a standard overhead, off-the-shelf camera. The installation is very easy. It's installed outside the water, above the water. So it takes a couple of hours to install. But it's equipped with artificial intelligence capabilities, a brain, if you will. And this brain has a certain set of features that allows to capture unusual behavior, as you mentioned earlier, and to look at other irregular things that are occurring and to point them out ahead of time. I think that the importance here is identifying something early enough to respond, and also identifying things that nobody else could identify beforehand. And that's true for safety, it's true for operational considerations, and it's also true for some management things as well. Some of the statistics that we can provide pools go to how many people are in the water right now, what are they doing, how many adults are there, how many children, how many people are swimming, who's potentially engaged in a dangerous activity. It's just taking it up to the next level.
And so what stage are you in now?
Well, we've just completed our seed round. We were very lucky to be supported by Terra Venture Partners, which took us under their wings early on. And I think everybody understood that there's a lot to be used with one technology that's dedicated to vision in the water that can have multiple applications. And it's not trivial for a company that's based up in the north. So we're very thankful for that.
Absolutely. It's important and potentially life-saving technology. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks.